Hi, I'm Robin Bensley. Welcome to Chow Time. It was love at first sight when I met Eric. And so I thought, for our very first date, I would invite him over to my house for dinner because I'm such a good cook. I wanted to impress him. Well, it turned out to be one of the worst meals I have ever made in my life. I broiled these pork chops, and they were so overdone that when we were sitting at the table trying to eat them, poor Eric is sawing away at the pork chop, and the table is moving, and our wine is sloshing around in the glasses. It was like we were on a boat. It was terrible. But he said, "Why don't I have you over to my house for dinner?" He turned out he made the most fantastic dish. We just love it. It is so special that we only have it every couple of years because you just want to kind of preserve that special romantic night. And I was actually very hesitant about sharing this personal dish of Eric's and mine, but I got his permission, and so that's what's on the menu today. The chicken dish, that's exactly what we call it, the chicken dish. There's only one. It was actually inspired by a French recipe Eric had seen called poulet aux amandes, which is chicken with almonds. So the first thing we're going to do is make a coating for our pieces of chicken. So I have about a cup of flour, and I'm going to add all kinds of flavor to this, which this to me makes it. I'm going to add a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of ground ginger, a teaspoon of oregano, half a teaspoon of mace, which I'm so excited to use the mace. I never use mace. We're going to do a very French herb, tarragon. We're going to do 1.5 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. So we'll combine all those flavors. Now I have 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts that I cut into chunks. And I am going to just put this in the bowl and coat all this chicken. And you just want to kind of keep tossing it in the bowl until there's no more flour on the bottom. Then you know it's well coated. I've melted 1 stick of butter, 8 tablespoons, in a large skillet, and I'm going to take all my floured seasoned chicken, put it in there, and I want to brown it. You can just smell all those wonderful herbs and spices, especially the tarragon. This is all wonderfully browned. So I'm going to remove it to a bowl. And now, if you need to add more butter, you can do that. But I am going to add 7 cloves of minced garlic. Just run that around the pan for just a minute. Then I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of chicken stock. Return the chicken. Add a 1/2 cup of white wine, maybe a little bit more, and some freshly chopped parsley. It's about 1/3 of a cup. And we just want to mix this together. And we're going to let that simmer for a 1/2 hour. And while that's simmering, I'm going to do one of my favorite parts of this whole dish. I have about 1½ tablespoons of melted butter in this small skillet, and these are sliced almonds. Oh, about a cup's worth. And I just want to brown these, because this goes on top. So I'm going to salt them up too. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Keep an eye on these so they don't burn. And also, keep an eye on the chicken. If you need to add more liquid, I usually add chicken stock, but when Eric is cooking, he adds white wine. He adds white wine to everything. So I'm going to plate some up. And you put lots of toasted almonds on top. And we always serve it with a few slices of tomato. It's been a long time. And this is unbelievably good. You know, I wouldn't mind if you wanted to adopt this as one of your romantic meals to have every so often. And you know, after that pork fiasco, I can't believe Eric actually married me.